Everybody, this is your girl V Mail, aka Mo Thoughts, and you are tuned in to an introductory episode of Hot Chocolate Conversations. This kicks off the series of National Poetry Month. I don't know how many of y'all out there know that April is National Poetry Month. And I myself, I have only been doing poetry for about 10 years, but I've been aware about National Poetry Month for 5 years. National Poetry Month has been around for a long time, and I first discovered National Poetry Month through Jah Smalls. I want to give a shout out, a special shout out to Coach Jah Smalls. Y'all need to make sure y'all check him out. He's an awesome poet. He's from New York, and he's based right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, back a few years ago, he did The Poet Is In. Oh, I think it's been a long time. It might have been before COVID or after. I don't know, but it was the bomb. Nobody had ever did anything like The Poet Is In. And I'm looking forward to whenever he does bring back The Poet Is In. Awesome and amazing. He did it at the library, the main library in Charlotte. When I tell you it was amazing, um, I went there a few days on my days off at that time, and I would go and I would use the typewriter. Now, how many of y'all remember the typewriter? I remember it a little bit. I've been used to computers, but the typewriter, I would like type out the poem on the typewriter. It was such a wonderful space of creativity, and I hope that he brings it back. So, shout out to you, Coach Josh Smalls. And also want to give a shout out to Mr. Witts as well. There's some awesome poets here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Um, so I love poetry. And so just a little bit about myself. I first discovered spoken word poetry about 10 years ago, and I utilized spoken word poetry to help me to heal in my personal life. You know, the things that I was going through with relationships and, situationships and things of that nature. But after a while, I started growing out of that and realized I could write about other things outside of the sadness and, different things like that. There's so many things to write about. So I started expanding what I was writing about. So I grew and I started writing about relationship with God and writing about faith, hope, and love and other things. Because there's so much sadness and depression in the world, and I want to bring light to different things. So that's why I started writing other things as well, and also being around other poets as well. So I love spoken word poetry. I'm now getting back to the place where I enjoy listening to spoken word poetry, and I also support my fellow poets as well. I want to also give a shout out to Mrs. Amelia T. Davis, who's based in Houston, Texas. She is the OG of poetry. She has been doing poetry for such a long time. And I told her that I was going to be highlighting her in this introductory episode. I posted it on my Facebook last night because I want to make sure I give flowers while people are living, while they can enjoy them. And she deserves the credit and honor for what she contributes to the poetry community. She writes a lot of poetry. And I want to take time to honor Miss Amelia T. Davis. Y'all make sure you check her out. I'm pretty sure she has some books that are out and available. And I'm going to make sure I get that information from Mrs. Amelia T. Davis so that you can all get some of her material. She has a lot of material. She's been doing spoken word poetry and poetry for a very long time. And she's I think she's been contributing to the civil rights as well and championing that cause as well. So I want to give a shout out to her for that. So I definitely wanted to, highlight her in this introductory episode. So again, thank y'all for tuning in. This is the introductory episode. I will be discussing poets that I enjoy and honoring poets who are no longer on this earth. And I also want to take time to honor, may she rest in peace, lovely poet Locks. She transitioned on last month. Cannot believe she's no longer on this earth. And also shout out to Lady V Poetry. Praying for you, sis. God bless you. I remember when they started Say It back in 2019 at Wet Willie's. That was awesome and amazing. The energy was wonderful. always they were receptive to, and I was just starting out with poetry and, learning my way about poetry and stuff like that. And I had a space to share my words. And so I'm thankful that I had that opportunity to do it then. And also when they did it online, when the pandemic happened, they did it online. And then they had another venue after a while where they had it, and I made sure I went, when I could and support. But that was awesome and amazing. She's one of my favorite poets. I'm to awesome and amazing. And, may she continue to rest in peace. I honor her in this episode as well. She is now an ancestor. So yeah, so I'm just honoring her as well. Um, and Lady V Poetry. A few years ago, I got her book, Pain in the Quiet. I had to pull it out of my box, but I'm going to read it again. But I love, supporting other poets and listening to other poets. Want to give a shout out to Nemo Sum. That's one of my top poets I like as well. Uh, and he is so awesome. And I love the short poems. It make me feel good to know that I can do short poems. I like to do medium-sized poems, but he do short poems, which is awesome and amazing. So shout out to you, Nemo Sum. Thank you for creating that space where we can have some short poems going on. You feel what I'm saying? Thank you so much. So I'm just highlighting some poets today and bringing forth this introductory episode. I will be discussing different poets in detail and, why I like poetry and what National Poetry Month means to me. Also, want to give honor where honor is due. May he rest in peace. Carlos Kaysen. Oh my gosh, may he rest in peace. I think it's been 5 years since he has transitioned, and he's an awesome poet. He came to one of my events that I did for foster care to raise money for foster care and things like that. Awesome and amazing. May he continue to rest in peace. There's just way too many poets that are no longer on this earth. That's why I always say we have to give honor where honor is due. Poetry is such an amazing art form that should not be taken lightly because it takes a lot to, do a poem, to work on a poem, and sometimes a poem is never like what we want it to be, like all perfect. I may want it to be a certain way. Another person may say, hey, that sounds good, but I hadn't even finished the poem. But however, poetry is such an awesome art form, and I thoroughly enjoy spoken word poetry. So I'm definitely going to be highlighting poets. Want to give also a shout out to Tammy Nicole Myers, Free Spirit, awesome and amazing poet. She has several works out. So shout out to her. Shout out to Angela Thomas Smith. I've been given the opportunity to have some of my work in the collaborations, so I want to give a shout out to her as well. I'm going to be in the poem anthology, so make sure y'all check that out. Make sure y'all check that out. I've got to start working on my poems today. It's day number 8 of National Poetry Month, and I have not written the first one. I wrote the first one, but there's still like 7 more poems I need to do. So I'm going to catch up on my writing because I had said I was going to do a 30 and 30 challenge, writing a poem every single day. I've been doing this since 2022, but I didn't have a chance to like edit and put it out there. But I am going to be editing and making those poems available from 2022, 2023, and 2024. So that takes time. The art form of poetry takes time. And when the inspiration hits, that's when I flow in that creativity. Want to give a shout out to JC Poet. Check out him. He is the OG of poetry in Charlotte. So I got to give a shout out to the OG as well. So this is the introductory episode. It's National Poetry Month. So to all the poets out there, if you have started writing your poems, write your poems. It's so fun just to write different things every day. And I have my sheets of paper. I have so much notebook paper and things like that. When I had it in my storage, I had to get rid of a lot of notebook paper because I was always buying a notebook every week. But now I'm utilizing the paper that I have and the pens and the technology to be able to bring forth some awesome and amazing poetry. So please stay tuned to the series of National Poetry Month is going to be a 3-part series, and I may even have an opportunity to interview some awesome poets here in the Charlotte area and outside of the Charlotte area. Also, got to give a shout out to Mr. William Washington, based in New York. He is another OG of poetry. He can write a poem at the drop of a hat. I mean, he is amazing and gifted at what he does as well. So, just highlighting several poets, but I will be going further into, um, you know, sharing other poets and works that I enjoy and just why I got involved in poetry and my appreciation for poetry and all of those things. So please make sure y'all tune in to the 3-part episode National Poetry Month, and also get some merch. I will have some National Poetry Month shirts. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have any advice, if you want to be a sponsor, or if you want to be a guest on the show, if you have any show topics or want some merch, please make sure that you email me at hotchocolateconvo@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram, Hot Chocolate Convo, and on Facebook at Hot Chocolate Conversations Podcast. Well, this is your girl V Mayo. Until the next time, thank you for tuning in.
We stand upon the shoulders of giants, the trailblazers who came before us. Their hard-won victories, their steadfast resilience, their visionary dreams, all have paved the way for us, the inheritors of their legacy. As we gaze back, we are humbled by the sacrifices, the struggles, the triumphs that have brought us to this pivotal moment. In honoring the past, we gain the wisdom and the perspective to chart our own course, to build upon the foundations laid by those who dare to dream and act. We stand ready to pass the torch, to share the wisdom and experience that we have gained, guiding the next generation with patience and care. The future is a collaborative effort where the young and the old, the visionaries and the doers come together to forge a path forward by embracing diverse perspectives and fresh ideas of the next generation. We cultivate an environment of mutual respect, an open exchange, and a boundless innovation. As we pass the torch, we empower the next generation to take the lead, to chart their own course, to realize their full potential. With unwavering support and commitment to their growth, we ensure that the future is in capable hands, poised to tackle the challenges and opportunities that await.